Welcome to part 2. I don't know. All right.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm telling you, like that's what I'm saying. These events that I had to write down because they're spread out into the woods chapters when they're in the tent, they could have happened in any order, and they still would have ended up at the same place at the
All
end.
right. All right. Let's
Just a
start
bit.
part 2 on a good note. They go to Lovegood's house.
So they make it to Lovegood, Mr. Lovegood's house, right? And they're like, can you tell us about the Deathly Hallows? Now he's acting weird for some reason.
Yeah, and also Luna's not here.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, she's in the other room. I'll go get her in just a second, but pull up a chair. Let's talk for a minute.
Yeah.
Starts sweating profusely.
Weirder than usual.
Yeah, he's like,
and here's the thing.
yeah.
I think there was a big missed opportunity here, but we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So
I want to hear this.
They're like the Deathly Hallows, and I think he just like loves to talk about this stuff. And they even bring it up how like I think he wasn't making it up because like he just seemed like he was just really like retelling these stories as if he really like
believed it. This is from a history book. I'm not reading you Aesop's fables.
Mm-hmm.
These are the real deal. These are so basically Hermione already knows about the Deathly Hallows,
right?
But she says they're literally fairy tales. Like there's no possible way they could be real.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but then they ask Mr. Lovegood about, tell us about the Deathly Hallows. He's like, yes, there was 3 brothers, and they all had one wish, and one of them was, they all wanted to beat death or something.
They all wanted to cheat death in some way, and they all thought they were clever. One was actually. One wished for a powerful wand.
Yeah.
One wished for a ring that could bring back the dead. And then one wished for an invisibility cloak.
Mm-hmm. And it
then
turns out
that didn't tip off Hermione at all.
It turns out that the invisibility cloak, since book 1, is one of the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, but also this is the Ubercharged version.
She definitely didn't make this up, this book. She definitely had this plan the whole time.
Yeah, here's something. I could see this as an easy criticism, but it's like, at this point, when you're 7 books in, I think it's kind of cool to draw attention to the past books and be like, okay, like I'm going to connect these now, because nothing was really connecting up until this point. And so there's really no other choice but to maybe. Here's the thing: the reason why I think that at least the cloak.
You sound like a politician.
No,
right
hold
now.
on. At least.
Yeah.
Let me talk.
Look.
Now listen. Okay. So,
Getting tired of this.
the reason I think at least his invisibility cloak was planned to be an item of some importance was because it's true in book 4, Mad Eye Moody couldn't see him, even though his magical eye could apparently see everything. They bring up in this book how, invisibility cloaks exist, but like this is the only one that can't be seen by, or the one in the book, the Deathly Hallow version, can't be seen by anything. So, in a way, that is actually a connection to book 4 where Mad Eye Moody couldn't actually see the cloak.
Well, they establish it in this book that Harry's invisibility cloak, which I would have assumed beforehand that anybody could buy an invisibility cloak.
Which is they say that's true.
Yeah. But in this one, it turns out that his is the only one that makes you completely invisible.
But that's true because again, Mad Eye Moody couldn't see him in book 4. So that was books ago. Mm-hmm. So I think she always had a plan or something, a figment of a plan to make this an important item of some sort.
Maybe, but we don't hear about the Elder Wand. I feel like the Elder Wand I think would have come up way sooner if there was always 3 Deathly Hallows.
And here's the thing. The interesting thing about the Deathly Hallows is that these items actually aren't that important. And they bring that up later too, like how it's kind of a red herring in a way. So it's sort of like this, that Harry has the choice at this point. He's like, do I go after the Horcruxes or continue, Dumbledore's plan? Or do I go after these Deathly Hallows, which are the ultimate power apparently?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that these are the items that, you get all 3 and you win. They're not, that's not what they are.
And they make it clear that Dumbledore knew that.
He tried.
Yeah.
Even when he knew, he tried to skip these Deathly Hallows and it didn't work out. So I don't think it was a bad addition. You know, it's a clever callback to at least what his invisibility cloak did. You know, why it's so important, why it's so powerful.
Sure.
And it brings up, you know, like, okay, like how is Voldemort, you know, like we all know that Voldemort, he fears death. That's the one thing he fears. Like, how is he actually going to achieve immortality? The Horcruxes was one thing, but how is he going to achieve true power? It's like, I will say, at this point, I think I texted you at this point, there are not that many chapters left.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like, okay, this is like maybe, you know, halfway point-ish to like the end of this book.
done.
And then there's going to be another book after this. No. There's like...
She has like 12 chapters to wrap it up.
Exactly. I think it was like literally 12 chapters left. And I'm like, this is...
Because we screwed around in the woods for 10 chapters.
I promise you, I would have kept that over the wedding. I would have kept that over the freaking broom chase scene. I would have kept that over pretty much all the other scenes besides maybe the ministry in this book.
She was writing specifically for you for that. You ate that up.
No, like I'm telling you, it's good stuff. It's really good. It's really clever. I think the rest of the stuff is what weighed the book down because it had such a weird start. Like it had this really fast-paced start, and then it had this breakneck stop, you know, and then suddenly we're getting our pace back again. But there's only 12 chapters left, so it's like that's sad. I can see why this is 2 movies.
The key lesson, everybody, and this is the theme of this episode breakdown, which I don't even think we're gonna finish today, to be honest with you, because.
Well,
we got like 30 minutes left where we have to pack up and get out.
Okay.
And also, just like J.K. Rowling, we're bad at pacing. So the theme of this block of episodes is pacing. Okay. Pacing. If I could write it on the wall. She sucks at it. Because like you said, it's like fast, broken. Now it's like, okay, depression for 10 chapters. I do agree with you.
The pacing is all
It's so bad. And like you said, okay, well, now we're done with the woods. Oh, shoot, there's like 12 chapters left, and there's still 5 Horcruxes out there. Right. All right, so.
It would have been nice if it would have been nice if the Deathly Hallows were brought up at least last book, at least a couple books ago. But it's still, I'll give her a slight pass because these items have existed up until this point, since the first
and you know
book.
what? It's not the biggest complaint I have.
Sure,
it fits enough. It fits enough into the world where it's like, you know, all right, like you said, the 2 of the Deathly Hallows already existed. I wish somebody brought it up,
right?
Because like, you know, if Dumbledore was searching for these, well, Harry had 2 of them at the same time. He could have been like, okay, that was good, but I'm taking these, my boy, because you know we'll need them in book 7. But he didn't, because she definitely thought of this beforehand. All right, but I'll let that one go because it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
All right, so Mr. Lovegood's acting fishy. He explains that there are 3 Deathly Hallows, and we finally hear about a magic wand that's like it can just beat anybody at any given time.
Right.
We don't know where it's at, though, but we know where the other 2 are, sort of.
I don't think the Philosopher's Stone was a Deathly Hallow.
Oh, well, then what was the other one?
It was a ring. That didn't sound right. Remember, it was the ring of Voldemort's dad.
Oh,
that didn't sound right.
But doesn't it do the same thing?
Kind of, not really. I think the Sorcerer's Stone like grants you immortality. We're not going to talk about the Philosopher's Stone. I don't think a lot of people talk about it because it's kind of an overpowered item. It was in the first book, so yeah, kind of like the time travel device. We're not going to talk about it.
That's fair. Yeah, they could use the time travel device. Come back to...
Welcome to every complaint ever, yes.
They could go to baby Voldemort and just...
Hey, that's... All right. Maybe we can save part 3 of this talk.
Because we're not going to finish in time.
The Battle of Hogwarts.
There's
Let's
no
save
way
it for that.
Yeah.
But okay, so continuing
Let's stop when you won't know when part 1 of the movie ends.
I actually have no idea. Yeah, I was telling him I have no idea when the movie ends.
Hell or high water, I'm going to cut us off where part 1, the movie ends.
Let's freaking
We're talking about the book.
Okay.
Right? So they get Mr. Lovegood, right? And they're like, you know, it turns out he alerted the Ministry of Magic. We're just skipping ahead. He alerted the Ministry of Magic that Harry Potter's standing right in front of him with his 2 wanted friends because they kidnapped Luna because of the stuff he was publishing. He's a publisher.
Yeah. Here's my missed opportunity thing.
Yeah.
Remember how I said a few books ago or a couple books ago how it was a really cool idea how they had to have codes for themselves in case they were disguised Death Eaters. Yeah. I thought that's what that was building to, is that this was actually a Death Eater in disguise the whole time, but no, it was just him with the gun over his head.
Yeah.
I was like, my head to fix that is if you just already have him and Luna tied up somewhere, and then there's a Death Eater there, like just disguised. I thought it would have been a cool callback to the rest of the books, but we never actually took advantage of that, and I'm a little peeved about that. But
well, you know, she wrote the books, not you, and pacing's not her greatest suit.
So yeah, they run off.
They run. Well, not quite. Okay, they're like, you know, how could you? Ron's like, how could you betray us, oi? And then Harry's like, oi. Yeah, and Hermione's like, look, she kidnapped her. They kidnapped his daughter, like Luna. And I like Luna. I was like, oh, they took Luna. That's sad. Yeah, you know, like Lord knows what they're doing to her.
Well, what would you have done in his shoes?
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly. Ron's just never understanding. Classic Ron, you know, classic Sokka. But so they pretend. They all hide under the invisibility cloak. The Death Eaters get there and like, Mr. Lovegood, you lied again. You just want your daughter back. He's like, no, seriously, Harry was just here. And then Harry and all of them, they decide to reveal themselves just to let him know that, hey, he wasn't BSing. And then they disappear. And they get away. They learned what the Hallows are. Yep. Harry's like wondering, like, well, why aren't we looking for the Deathly Hallows? I got one of them. Right. Why don't we find the magic wand? Why don't we find the wand that's going to beat Voldemort? And then Hermione's like, well, that's not what Dumbledore wanted. We got to trust what Dumbledore wanted. He wanted you to find the Horcruxes. He knew that had to be your main goal.
And Ron's like, no, let's go after the Hallows. Yeah. So he's at a bridge right now. He's like...
And I'm not going to lie. Like, I'd be tempted. Yeah. I'd be tempted to be like, why aren't we looking for this wand that's going to just auto kill everybody?
This new DLC side quest just came out. And it's supposed to be top tier gear. You know, you don't fall back.
Yeah. Of course, they have no idea where it is, but either does Voldemort, because we know how he is with wands. He sucks.
Does not know how.
Yeah, no clue. Because when he finds the wand, by golly, he has no idea what to do with it.
That's so funny because I just thought of a scene later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I hope you remember.
He's literally crying to Snape. He's like, "How do I get this to work?
It's no working good." There's a funny line from that scene too. But anyway, all right. So then Harry's complaining. He's like, "We still don't know what Voldemort wants to." No, Harry, don't say it. Voldemort wants to.
In the audible, A literally gets cut off. He says, "Volda, don't say it."
Yeah.
Mort.
Yeah. And actually, so when Ron, we missed a spot. When Ron came back, that's when he said, "Hey, the word Voldemort's bugged."
Yes.
So that's when we learned, like, if you say Voldemort, the Snatchers are what they called.
It basically pings their location.
It pings their location. Don't ask me how it works. Turns out you can poison words and cast a spell over words being spoken.
He's so powerful.
There's not. You're right. We haven't been given Voldemort enough credit. Okay.
He can freaking.
He's so strong. He can patent words.
He wokified the wizard language.
It's like when the Wright brothers tried to. The React Bros, they tried to just patent the word react. But Voldemort did it, gosh darn it.
What about like patenting words like, we can't say terrorists, you know, like it's the same thing. It's kind of relatable.
The T word?
Yeah, the T word.
Well, great. Now Voldemort's right outside the gate. Good job, buddy.
That's okay. I'm not scared of him.
Yeah, I am though. No, not really. He sucks. Yeah, anyway.
So Harry can't help himself.
Yeah. Voldemort, and then Fenrir Greyback shows up, the werewolf.
Which wouldn't have made more sense if it was Jinx the entire time, which that's why no one would say his name.
Yeah. Like anytime he said it, he got like $1.
Yeah.
You know, like because of royalties.
They just don't want to pay the
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm with you, like, because before that, everyone was like...
They're being pansies about it.
Yeah.
And Dumbledore's like, why are you being pansies about it?
Yeah, say it. And then now, this book, it makes sense. Like, don't say it. It's pinged.
Yep.
You know, like, and I was actually like, that's pretty clever.
Oh, yeah.
It's so clever.
Because you know he's going to say it.
It's so clever that, Voldemort didn't think of it. One of his lackeys did.
You're so right.
Yeah.
Snape did.
Yeah.
Bet you anything.
Snape, I'll even say Bellatrix did it. Because I know Lucius's dumb A didn't say it. You know? Like, I know Lucius didn't think of it. My lord. I'm sorry, that's Snape. My lord.
My lord.
Yeah. Like, if you bug the word, if you bug your name, we'll find Harry. Like...
He's like, Snape, can I tell people that I thought of that?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So...
Yeah.
And
they're like right there. Like they think they were literally 5 steps away. And they're like, "Hello, kids. Who's in here?"
So I missed this at first. They don't recognize. So it's Fenrir, Greyback, and a bunch of other Death Eaters whose names I don't know.
Yeah, well, they had a reaction where they just like literally like D&D reaction where they just disguise themselves as older people.
Right. So that's what happened, right? Because I missed it at first. At first, I thought they were looking at Harry, Scar, and everything, and didn't recognize him.
I thought the same thing too. I had to rewrite it.
Right. So when I read the summary, apparently the last second, I still couldn't find it in the book. I tried to reread that chapter and figure out when they did it. They didn't.
He had a mustache.
I couldn't find it. Yeah. He wore a mustache and he wore a blue marker over the scar or something. You know. So it's like, oh, that's not it.
No.
He put it on the other side.
And then, the werewolf shows up again. He's a cool character.
And I was like, I actually liked him. Well, he didn't really do anything, but I like the idea of him, the leader of the werewolves. But he doesn't do much, sadly.
No, because we don't know much about werewolf lore. But it would have been cool if, we touched on that a little bit. Because he's fighting with the Death Eaters because, like, he's not a true Death Eater. He's not permitted to wear robes. He's not one of them. But he still wants credit with Voldemort.
But why are werewolves always bad guys? You know?
They're not. Lupin.
I know Lupin, but he was bitten by someone who works for Voldemort. So and when he turns, he doesn't have a choice.
I think because in this book it goes over a lot, especially with like goblins, how like the wizarding world had this superiority with all the different races. Because like if you go in the books, like giants don't like them. Centaurs, I think, are chill with them. Goblins begrudgingly work with them. I don't actually know why they work with them.
Giant spiders
are enslaved by them. Yeah, giant spiders eat everyone. So it's like a lot of these, and that's how they talk about how like Voldemort got all these allies because he basically turned everyone against the wizarding world, or like Hogwarts at least, and the Ministry. So yeah, makes sense. But would have loved to see a little more about the werewolf stuff.
Yeah,
he's a cool character.
Cool. I agree. Yeah,
he's way more intimidating than any of the Death Eaters.
He gets wasted.
Yeah.
Like literally, like the last chapter, he died. Grand Theft Auto style.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they get captured by werewolves and they're called snatchers, and they're like, boy, we got you. And they give fake names. I'm Vernon Dudley. It's like, all right, you look like a Vernon Dudley. You're ugly. And then Ron, he just swells up. So he's like, oh,
and they're like,
huh? What'd you say, boy?
One of those special children.
Yeah, one of these special kids here. And then Hermione, she gives a really good fake name that it was like, oh, and she has a fake ID.
And they're like,
yeah, you are definitely who you say you are. She even says, I'm a mudblood. And like, throw her in the back with the rest of them. But then I don't remember how it happened, but at some point halfway to...
Harry F's it up.
But how?
I don't remember.
Exactly.
He does F it up, though.
Yeah, and they're like...
he sneezes in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and like, hey, you're Harry Potter.
Yeah, it was like you think they're going to go all the way. They're going to go all the way to the Malfoy mansion without them discovering. But no, it's like how on the way there, he does something stupid, I think.
Oh, yeah. It was dumb.
Almost as dumb as saying the name after being told that the name is Jinx, but whatever.
I can understand him falling for that, though, because it's like me trying to quit cursing. Like, it just comes out. So for 6 books, he's been told, just say the name. Who cares?
Yeah.
Don't give the name power by not saying it. So for him, it's natural. And he slips up and says it.
I don't know. If you were told that Satan would literally appear if you said the F word, what would your first reaction be?
He does appear, okay, because you let the evil spirit in.
Exactly.
Not the Holy Spirit.
You're true. I guess we're Death Eaters.
Yeah, for real. That's a good point, though. You're right. If you say the F word, Satan will literally show up next
and kill everyone you love. Okay, maybe I won't.
I'm going to take this out of my vocabulary.
I'm going to think about only that.
Yeah. All right. That's fair enough. Fair enough. All right. But and Harry's not the brightest bulb in the bunch, really, so we know
he got hit in the head a little too hard.
We know he's going to slip up and say it.
So he does. They go to the Malfoy mansion. Werewolf is like, we want credit for this, and then Bellatrix is like, no, I want credit for this because I'm his favorite. They go bickering and whatnot.
He pulls out the sword of Gryffindor, like, where'd you get that? It's a fake. No, that's. And they're like, go get the goblin downstairs.
Yeah.
He will authenticate it.
I didn't catch why. I didn't catch it where the goblin lied for Harry. I don't know why he did, though. Maybe he saw opportunity. I
don't remember either, but he probably saw opportunity. He wanted the sword back.
Right.
He's like, later on, he's like, I won't work with you, Harry, unless we get the sword back. It's ours as goblin people. Yeah. It's ours.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they take Hermione and they're going to interrogate her about where'd you get this sword? How do you know?
She gets it really rough.
And I think they actually let it slip that they're after Horcruxes.
Probably.
Because I think somebody mentioned the locket or something, and Bellatrix knows about Horcruxes.
Here's the thing. I feel like if you would have killed a part of Voldemort, he would have felt it.
Apparently not.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was going to play into, but no, I guess
No,
not.
he's dumb. He just didn't know. Mine!
Very good.
Yeah, Horcrux is not his. Nope. He has no clue.
But yeah, I was kind of disturbed by how much they torture Hermione. It's kind of rough.
Because you hear her screams
Yeah.
from the dungeon.
Yeah.
So they throw Ron and Harry into the dungeon. Mr. Ollivander's there, the wand maker / guy who prescribes you your wand.
Yep.
The goblin who can authenticate the sword.
And then Wormtail shows up.
Ugh. No, okay, we're actually going to make it to the Wormtail part. I'm happy.
I know.
So-
I knew it. I knew
Yep.
this was the character.
You knew.
I thought the same thing.
Yep. All right. So
I don't think, does he say a word? I don't think he got one line.
we're not there yet. All right. So they're like, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
We need to get out.
Yeah.
And literally, Harry still has a piece of that mirror that he used to talk to Sirius with.
Yeah.
Sirius Black. And he looks into it and he's like, somebody help us.
Mm-hmm.
And you see somebody's eyeball. You don't know who it is. It's
Yeah.
not Moody's eye because you'd be able to know. But just somebody's eye looks and he's like, help. And he's like, well, who is this? Is this Dumbledore? Is this Albus Dumbledore? We don't know.
Yeah.
You just see the eye. He just leaves. And so like, huh. And then so while Hermione's screaming, I think Dobby shows up.
He does. Yeah.
Well, I know he does. I just don't know if I'm in the right order, if I'm going too
It's
fast.
after this.
Yeah.
Because remember what happens right when he shows up.
Yeah. I think Dobby shows up and he's like, here, I'll help you, Harry Potter. Let me help you.
Yeah.
And while he's talking, Bellatrix is like, who's making all that noise down there? Who? And I think we missed some exposition about Lucius, how he's like, he's a bottom feeder now. He's like worthless.
Oh, yeah.
Dumbledore's so pissed at Lucius that he's
Voldemort, yeah.
He's like holding him captive somewhere and torturing him. And
No, that's why I'm just like, dude, Voldemort is such
a
little, you know what? Because like, it's all his F ups, you know, and he keeps on torturing this one dude.
Yeah.
Because of his mistakes, you know.
Like, how is it his fault? You stole Lucius's wand. It blew up in your face because you
It's
don't know how
literally
wands
like Biff from Back to the Future. You didn't tell me there was a blind spot.
work. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so
Now Voldemort, I didn't see any blind spot on the wand.
Yep. Lucius, you idiot. All right, so we missed that, but whatever. Lucius, he sucks. He doesn't get a comeuppance. Nobody cares.
He's been getting laid into for like 3 books. Straight.
Yeah. So you're gonna notice, guys, a lot of characters. Because here we go. A lot of characters don't get their comeuppance.
Yeah.
They just die off screen. They died books ago, and we heard about it books later. But anyway, we get to Dobby shows up. He's like, "Okay, give me like 5 minutes. I'll be right back."
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if he come back with a key, or he comes back with the way to set them all free, and they're all free. They get out the cage.
Yeah.
And as they're getting out, so the Goblin, Mr. Ollivander, Harry, and Ron, they're out. Dobby's with them.
Yep.
And as they're getting out, Bellatrix stops torturing Hermione, and she's like, "What? What was that noise? Peter Pettigrew, go investigate."
Mm-hmm.
I don't hear him go, "Okay, madam."
No.
I don't. You just hear, or I'm sorry, you read it because we're reading. You read, and then here comes Peter Pettigrew. We ain't seen him for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Because in book 3, he was a big deal. He was like the main villain almost.
He was one of Potter's father's like best friends.
Best friends, like betrayal story. And at the end of book 3, he got away.
Yeah.
And it was
And
like, I can't.
It was a mercy too because like Harry stops Lupin and Sirius from killing him.
Yeah.
And he was like, "This is not what my father would have wanted."
And I was like, how's he going to come back? Like, how's this going to play into
maybe
the
he's
story?
going to come back and help them. You know,
Book 4, he comes in. He's the one that resurrected the Dark Lord.
Yeah, and he's terrified. You feel for him because he's like, even though he's the only thing that brought back Voldemort, you know, he's still terrified, you know, and he just like lays into him. I'm like, man, when is this guy going to get his redemption arc, right?
Yeah. He has a new metal arm. I was like, oh cow, he's upgraded.
Yeah.
He's got this giant arm that's like, you know, he looks like the Winter Soldier. It's intimidating.
You know what? Maybe he's a Winter Soldier.
Maybe he's gonna start punching stuff. He's gonna beat the crap out of Ron finally.
Yeah.
You know, and You know, so Peter sees them and he picks up Harry and Ron, I think, or whatever. He picks up Harry, and Harry's like, "Please don't." And Peter thinks for half a second. He's like, "Maybe I shouldn't hurt Harry."
I don't think he says it. He just thinks it.
He just thinks it. He hesitates, and as he hesitated, his arm is like, "You know what, traitor."
And Harry's like, and Harry like tries, I guess.
Harry tries to pry the fingers open. He starts. The book says he starts turning bluer and bluer.
And I'm like, I'm in my car listening to this. I'm like, there's no way.
He dies.
And what the famous words? His body goes lifeless.
He dies. 2 books to build up. I was wondering where he was. I actually forgot like where he popped up again in this. I actually did forget. I was like, "Oh, Pete's here." I was like, "Cool, we're finally gonna get the." Oh, and I was just as disappointed the first time I read it.
I don't know how the movie portrays it, but just everyone is casually kind of watching this happen. Like it's so lame.
It was so. I was like,
why give him the cool arm?
Yeah.
Why send him down here? Like,
yeah, he just died. The arm independently.
He never said a word.
Why didn't the arm just finish choking Harry? Right? The arm.
It's true. The arm has a mind of its own.
Yeah. The arm sense weakness.
And actually, that's the reason.
Myself.
That's the reason they get away.
Yeah. Yeah. I was so disappointed.
This has to be the dumbest part of the book.
Yeah.
I know there's plenty, like there's some other things to pick at, but this is
we can all agree.
Dumbest part of the book.
Yeah, Pete's arm was so stupid.
Oh, and he's never brought up again.
Nope. He doesn't get a burial. They don't reflect on he betrayed my parents. They don't even bring that up again. No. I don't think. You know, like
they blame everyone else but him now. So it's like, yeah, dude. It is such. I've just like, did someone else take over writing for a second? Like this film.
No,
this is like a Ryan Johnson.
This
move.
has what's her name written all over it.
It's true.
She sucks at killing characters. She sucks at circling back around. She's awful.
I cannot defend it at all.
At all.
It was so pitiful.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where the movie ends?
No.
Okay.
We got a little bit more to go. We got 10 minutes left to pad.
Oh, I forgot. There's still another character death. In the same scene.
That was a pretty good sound I did.
That was good.
All right. So Pete's gone.
Does Bellatrix come after them now? Yeah.
So they rescue
I'll
Hermione.
do it myself.
They rescue Hermione. They bust in. There's a big fight in the chandelier room.
Yeah.
And
this looked cool in the movie.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big fight. They're all fighting out Bellatrix, and she knows about Horcruxes. I think they grab the sword back. And basically what happens is they knock the chandelier down, and it distracts her enough to where they disparate, I think is what it's called.
Yes.
And they jump through the portal and they get out. But not before she throws a knife through the portal with them.
Of course.
And as they make it, they're like all high-fiving each other, chest bumping. Yeah, they don't bring up Pete, but they're like, yeah, we did it. We got away. Ha ha.
And Dobby goes,
Nice. Now, see, we can circle back around just fine. Why does JK suck at it?
Please tell me we got that recorded. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Dobby goes, and it's like, oh, no, the knife hit Dobby. I'm not going to lie. I think this was the most emotional death in the whole series.
Yeah.
I won't say there was a lot of buildup, but there was enough shock value.
I wasn't shocked at all.
Really?
No, I mean, this is where we differ. I actually did not feel a thing.
Really?
And I actually
you've defended Dobby
the
whole time.
That's what's so weird. I actually liked Dobby, but I was just so put off by Wormtail's death. I was way more emotionally invested in that. I'm telling you, dude, I didn't feel anything for Dobby's death. And like, yeah, I mean, I think Dumbledore is way more emotional to that point, but like, no, sure. I see what you mean. This is definitely supposed to be. And like they set it up. Oh my gosh, this is the big one. It's freaking Dobby, dude. Mm-hmm. And maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace or something. Maybe because I just read that really, really just...
You were just like... I give up.
Well, I was driving, so I was like, I'm going to drive this car off a bridge.
Yeah.
No, I felt nothing. And again, that might just be a me thing. And I'm glad that you got something out of it.
I
We're
didn't say that.
here.
I was just saying, like, I could see finally this would be a death. I'm with you. I didn't care. I hate Dobby. I was happy he died, right? But I'm with you. Like, I was going to say, though, I can see where readers would be like, this is an actual emotional
No,
death.
100%. I bet you this is like the top 10 saddest death list somewhere.
Somewhere. Go watch Mojo.
So what are we at? 37 deaths now?
37 deaths. And we're actually where part 1 of the movies end.
Okay. That's where they ended, huh?
So we've talked a lot about how when you split up the last book into part 1, part 2, part 1 is always garbage, and then part 2 is where stuff actually happens.
Yeah.
I'll give part 1, the movie, credit. They stuck to the book. Now, I mean, nothing happens until the last 10 seconds when Dobby dies, and probably Peter. I don't just remember that scene, right? But nothing happens till the last 10 minutes. But that's in the book. There's like 2 hours of them screwing around in the woods.
When me talking about the woods in book form, it's a little different.
Yeah.
I don't see myself enjoying it that much in movie form.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
But that's the movie. I was like, by golly, they stuck to the book.
That's weird. And you paid money to see that?
No, I watched it with friends after.
Oh, thank God.
No, God, no. Well, my friend Sydney, who was on our show in book 3 discussion, she had already owned them all. Or maybe they're on Max. They're on Max right now. So we watched them. And
Dude, I'm sorry.
I didn't even watch part 2. I think I fell asleep because I was working night shifts. But I watched part 1. I was like, by golly, they stuck to the book. I'll give them points for that.
Have you ever watched part 2?
No, I started it and I fell asleep. Yeah.
Oh, so we should do that.
Well, I'm up for that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's more interesting than the book version.
Yep, that's where we end.
Because you know, yeah. So let's see. That's the end of this discussion. This episode will probably be a bit shorter unless you find a different way to break it up.
I have no idea.
But that's up to you. I'll let you decide that.
This is pure unadulterated love for Harry Potter, dude.
Because by golly, part 1, the movie ended here. So I guess we'll end part 2 here of our discussion.
I want to make it super clear. I've gotten to the point of fandom where I can love the series, but also poke fun at the really silly parts. I think in a little way, I think you love the series too, in some way, maybe.
Well, I don't have time to refute that.
Exactly, that was my strategy.
No. I love this series we're doing, but no, God, no. No.
You don't like the world of Harry Potter. You don't like the
like the world.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
all right, fine. There's a good foundation here. If she was like I've said this the whole time, if she was a better writer, this series, she's good at world building. If she was just better at the characters and pacing. Honestly, I could let the characters go if pacing was not an issue.
There's enough time for me to bring up. This is actually why I know a lot of people aren't. This is why I'm actually super excited for the HBO Max series. Is because the disadvantage the movies had, I'm sure, I mean, maybe not that big of a deal, but is that the books weren't finished yet. So you couldn't really make connections to Deathly Hallows in the first movie because they came out kind of sequentially alongside the books. The Max series
I'll have to fact check you on that next time. But
well, you know how I'm not saying like one came out, then one came out.
Right.
I'm talking about like how 2 books come out, then maybe the first movie comes out. You know, like how the books didn't come out until the movies, movies didn't come out until...
Vice versa.
Yeah. The Max series now has the opportunity, I think, to make a couple of healthy changes.
Yeah.
Now, again, it's not going to be a book series.
Especially with the first 2 movies.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever.
Imagine, I really hope they do this and they don't just do the bare minimum. I really hope they take advantage of it and they actually add some things that will come back later and it will tie things together. Cut out all these characters that mean nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe bring them back in some way. You know, like I'm actually really excited to see almost like kind of a rewrite of this series. Like we've read Harry Potter, we've seen Harry Potter, you know, like a million times over. I don't want the same thing. I want to see something new with this, you know, especially after reading this.
Well, and everyone hates J.K. Rowling now anyway.
Right.
Like writers, so like they're casting people that she doesn't approve of. So there's plenty of time to like change stuff that she wrote because they already don't like her as a foundation.
Now, the caveat to that is they might just take the opportunity to just add a whole bunch of political crap to it to combat J.K. Rowling to spite her, which I'm like, I know that's going to happen in some way. It already is kind of happening.
You thought Moaning Myrtle was a girl. That's a good one, buddy. Anyway, well, that's it for this time, guys. Sorry, it might be a bit shorter or it's cut up weird, but it's just the studio thing.
What do you care? It's the best series we've ever done.
I agree. And I actually think we did a good discussion.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't even make my main point yet, but we'll get there. So
It's a big blue sticky note on the back of his book.
we'll see y'all next time.
Blur that out. All right.